Hello and welcome back to Diary of Miss Martha. If you love real-life stories filled with unexpected twists, emotional family moments, and shocking surprises, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like. Trust me, you'll want to hear today's story until the very end. It was a quiet Saturday afternoon, the kind where the sun casts golden shadows across the living room, and the air smells faintly of jasmine from the garden. I was sitting in my favorite armchair, sipping tea, scrolling through old photographs in a dusty album. Life had been predictable, calm, almost monotonous since my husband passed away years ago. I had learned to appreciate routine, to find comfort in small moments. Then, the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, not today, not ever. And yet, there he was. A man in a perfectly tailored navy suit, standing politely on my doorstep, holding a small bouquet of flowers. "Hello, Mrs. Martha," he said with a slight bow, extending his hand. "I'm Daniel." I blinked. Daniel? That name sounded familiar, but my mind drew a blank. Where did I know him from? Did my daughter invite a friend home? A distant relative? Or someone else entirely? Before I could ask, Lily appeared, her cheeks rosy, her eyes shining brighter than usual. "Mom, this is Daniel," she said softly. I opened my mouth. And then she said it. Those words that would stop my heart for a moment. "He's your new son-in-law." My tea almost slipped from my hands. Son-in-law? New son-in-law? I froze. My mind raced. How? When? Why hadn't she told me? Questions collided inside my head like a storm. Daniel offered a polite smile, trying to ease the tension, but it didn't help. I had never met him before, not once. And now, suddenly, he was part of my family. Lily gently took my hand. "Mom, I wanted to tell you. I really did. But I wanted it to be special." Special, I thought. Confusion, shock, and a tinge of fear are not what I would call special. That evening, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Daniel's polite smile and those gentle, calm eyes. Something about him felt genuine, and yet I was overwhelmed. A stranger? Suddenly a son-in-law? The next morning, I decided I needed answers. But little did I know, this day would mark the beginning of a journey I could never have predicted. I asked Lily to sit with me in the living room, a nervous habit I always had before confronting emotional surprises. "Lily, I don't understand. When did this happen?" I asked gently, trying to mask my racing heart. She bit her lip, a little smile playing across her face. "Mom, it happened a few months ago. Daniel and I met, and we realized we were meant to be together. I wanted to tell you in person, in a way that felt right." I looked at her, searching for signs of deceit. None. Her eyes were honest, brimming with a strange mix of excitement and apprehension. I noticed Daniel standing quietly in the background, almost nervous, unsure of how to act. I realized he was just as anxious as I was. A stranger in my home, trying to become part of my family. I took a deep breath. "All right, I want to know everything. Start from the beginning." Lily smiled and sat beside me. "It all started at work. Daniel was a new colleague. We met by chance, and everything changed from that moment." As she spoke, Daniel's presence became less intimidating. I could see the care in his expressions, the respect in the way he listened, and slowly, my fear began to turn into curiosity. The next morning, I couldn't stop thinking about Daniel. My curiosity gnawed at me. Who was this man? What had drawn Lily to him so quickly? And why hadn't she told me sooner? I decided to call my best friend, Susan. Her calm voice always had a way of making me feel grounded. "Martha, what's going on?" Susan asked as soon as I picked up the phone. I took a deep breath and explained everything: the unexpected visit, Daniel, and Lily's sudden announcement. My words tumbled out, faster and more anxious than I intended. Susan listened patiently and then chuckled softly. "Martha, this sounds like one of those stories that will make you both laugh and cry later. You need to meet him properly before making any judgments." That evening, Daniel came over for dinner. I was nervous. I rearranged the living room, polished the silverware, and even tried to cook something extra special. Lily hovered nearby, excited but also anxious about my reaction. When Daniel arrived, he stepped inside cautiously, as if entering foreign territory. I studied him carefully. His posture was polite, his hands relaxed, and there was an almost childlike nervousness in his smile. "Thank you for having me, Mrs. Martha," he said, his voice steady but gentle. "I hope I'm not imposing." I shook his hand. "You're welcome, Daniel. Please have a seat." Dinner was awkward at first. I tried to make conversation, but my mind kept wandering. Every so often, I caught Daniel glancing at Lily with a tenderness that made my chest ache in a strange, unfamiliar way. After the main course, I finally asked the question that had been sitting on my tongue since the previous day. "Daniel, tell me about yourself. Where do you come from? How did you and Lily meet?" He smiled softly, as if he had anticipated this question. "Well, Mrs. Martha, I grew up in a small town not far from here. I moved to the city a few years ago for work. Lily and I met at her office. It was accidental, really, but sometimes life has a way of arranging accidents into something beautiful. From the very first day, I knew there was something special about her." I listened closely, analyzing his every word. There was honesty in his tone, a subtle warmth that made it hard to doubt him. "And when did you decide to propose?" I asked, my voice trembling slightly. He hesitated, then looked at Lily with a soft smile, before returning his gaze to me. "It took time, Mrs. Martha. I wanted to be sure. Sure that she was happy. Sure that we were ready. I wanted to make this right. And then I knew there was no other choice but to ask her to be my partner for life." I nodded slowly, trying to process everything. Part of me wanted to trust him instantly. Another part wanted to retreat, to protect Lily from what I didn't yet understand. After dinner, we moved to the living room. Lily brought out an old photo album, and the three of us started flipping through the pages. Daniel was attentive, asking questions about my past, my family, and the stories behind each photograph. He laughed at my anecdotes, nodded at my memories, and seemed genuinely interested. It struck me then, Daniel wasn't just trying to impress me. He wanted to understand our family, to be a part of it. And somehow, slowly, I began to feel a flicker of acceptance. Later that night, when Daniel left, Lily and I sat together in the living room. "Mom, what do you think?" Lily asked nervously. I sighed. "He's different, Lily, but different can be good. Just take it slow. I need to see how this unfolds before I fully trust him." Lily smiled and leaned against me. "I knew you'd like him. I just wanted you to see who he really is, not just the idea of him." And for the first time in weeks, I felt a little relief. Maybe Daniel wasn't just a stranger. Maybe he could be the kind of son-in-law I could one day accept. Over the next few weeks, Daniel became a regular part of our lives. He helped with household chores, joined us for tea, and sometimes stayed to talk long after dinner had ended. Slowly, the initial tension began to fade. But one afternoon, while sorting through old boxes in the attic, I stumbled upon something that made my heart stop. It was a photograph, a picture of Daniel with another family member I recognized immediately. I froze, unsure if I should show Lily. My mind raced. Had he hidden something from us? Was he not who he said he was? I confronted Lily gently. "Lily, I found something. Why didn't you tell me?" Her eyes widened and she bit her lip nervously. "Mom, I wanted you to meet Daniel first, to see him for who he is. Not the rumors, not the past, just him." I felt a wave of confusion. Was she hiding something, or was there truly more to Daniel's story? The next time Daniel visited, I decided to ask him directly, trying to keep my voice calm. "Daniel, I found something about you. Can you explain?" He looked surprised at first, then took a deep breath. "Mrs. Martha, I understand your concern. I know I came into your life suddenly, and I know there might be doubts, but I promise my intentions with Lily are sincere. I am not hiding anything from you or from her." I studied his face, looking for signs of deception. There were none, only sincerity, a quiet determination, and a hint of vulnerability. Days passed, and I observed him closely. I noticed the little things, how he remembered my favorite tea, how he complimented my cooking, how he listened when I spoke. Slowly, the unease I had felt began to fade. Perhaps Lily had chosen well. Perhaps Daniel really was the kind of person who could become part of our family. As the weeks turned into months, Daniel became more than just Lily's fiancé. He became a presence in our home, someone who laughed with us, helped with chores, and gradually won the hearts of everyone around him. He wasn't perfect, of course. He made mistakes, mispronounced names, and sometimes brought his own nervous energy into our home. But he was earnest, and his intentions were clear. One evening, we had a family dinner. Mrs. Collins, our neighbor, had come by with her usual barrage of questions and opinions. At first, I worried Daniel would falter under the scrutiny, but he handled it with ease, responding politely, listening attentively, and even making Mrs. Collins laugh on occasion. After dinner, I pulled Lily aside. "I think I might actually like him, Lily," I admitted, surprising even myself. She laughed softly, tears glistening in her eyes. "I knew you would, Mom. I knew it from the start." It was a turning point. Daniel was no longer just an outsider. He was part of our family, slowly weaving himself into the fabric of our lives. Even Susan noticed the change. "Martha, you've been smiling more lately. He's good for you too, in a way," she teased during one of her visits. I couldn't deny it. Life, which had been quiet and predictable, was slowly filling with warmth, laughter, and unexpected joy. The months had passed faster than I could have imagined. Daniel had become a constant presence in our lives, not just Lily's fiancé, but someone who quietly, patiently, and genuinely became part of our family. The wedding day arrived, and with it, a mixture of nerves, excitement, and anticipation. I woke up early, the sunlight streaming through the curtains, feeling a strange combination of pride and anxiety. My little girl, my Lily, was about to take a step into a new life, and Daniel would be by her side. As I walked down the hallway, I saw Daniel helping Lily adjust her dress. He wasn't just attentive, he was gentle, patient, and full of love. Their eyes met, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. I realized then that the bond between them was real, deep, and unshakable. I took a deep breath, recalling the first day he had appeared at our doorstep. The confusion, the shock, the questions that had flooded my mind. Now all of that seemed distant, replaced by a feeling of completeness I hadn't felt in years. The ceremony was beautiful. Friends, neighbors, and family had gathered, all smiling and sharing in the joy. Daniel's parents were warm and welcoming, and I found myself laughing and exchanging stories with them as though they had always been part of our lives. When the officiant began the vows, I watched closely, my heart swelling with emotion. Daniel spoke first, his voice steady but full of tenderness. I promised to love Lily, to support her, and to be there for her in every moment, in joy and in sorrow. I promised to honor and respect her, to protect her heart, and to cherish her always. Then Lily spoke, her voice shaking slightly with emotion. I promised to love Daniel, to stand by him, to share my life, my hopes, and my dreams with him. I promised to be patient, kind, and to always communicate from my heart. When they exchanged rings, I felt tears prick at my eyes. Daniel looked at me and said softly, "Thank you, Mrs. Martha, for welcoming me into your family." I promise to honor that trust and love Lily with everything I have. I smiled through my tears. "Welcome to the family, Daniel," I whispered. After the ceremony, the reception was lively, filled with laughter, music, and dancing. Daniel made it a point to include me in every conversation, every toast, and every celebration. I realized then that he truly wanted to be part of our lives, not just as Lily's husband, but as someone who cared for me as well. As the evening wound down, Lily and Daniel pulled me aside. "Mom, thank you for believing in me, and in him," Lily said, holding my hand. Daniel nodded, smiling warmly. "I know it hasn't been easy, Mrs. Martha, but I promise I'll always do my best to make your daughter happy." I hugged them both, feeling a wave of relief, pride, and joy wash over me. Life, which had been quiet and predictable, had gifted me this unexpected happiness. For the first time in a long time, I felt a deep sense of peace. Love had entered our lives in the most unexpected way, teaching me that sometimes surprises are the best gifts. Thank you for watching Diary of Miss Martha. If this story touched your heart, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like. Share in the comments the most unexpected family surprise you've ever experienced. I would love to hear your stories. And don't forget to share this video with someone who loves real-life emotional stories. See you in the next story.